Everybody, it's Jules Chabot here, Celtic wildlife artist. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. It is the 1st of December. I can't quite believe that it's December already and we're on the last month of the year. It's incredible. Today a bit chilly here in South Derbyshire. I've got my lovely scarf on, which is my clan tartan, which is Macintosh. My mum's family, all my maternal side of the family are Macintosh clan, which I'm very proud of. And I got this beautiful scarf from David, my husband, for part of my birthday present, which is the Macintosh clan tartan, and it's gorgeous. It's really lovely and warm. So I thought I'd share that with you today. And today we're going to be having a look at lovely falcon wisdom. I had a very special encounter with David on Tuesday. Morning, Susie. Oh, it's lovely to have you here. And yes, we were in Derby, the city that's closest to where we live. It's about 20 minutes away from where we are, tucked away. And we were there on Tuesday and had my hair, well, both had our hair cut, ready for Christmas. So I've had quite a lot cut off, look. It's all short, it was down here before. So I'm getting used to that. But yes, we had our hair cut and then we came out, and where our hair stylist is very close to Derby's Cathedral. And we are very aware that there are peregrine falcons that nest and tend to hang out on the cathedral right at the top. They've built some platforms specifically to help them to make nesting sites, and that's supported by the Derbyshire Wildlife Trust, which is wonderful. And peregrines, you may know this, but peregrine falcons in particular seem to be choosing to find places to live and nest in cities because there's an overrun of pigeons, which is one of their favourite prey beings. And in Derby, there are certainly lots of pigeons. So we were coming out and I suddenly heard this call, which is very, very piercing. And if you've watched my post advertising this, scheduling this, you can hear the call, which is really, really piercing. Sounds quite distressing actually, but I presume it isn't for them. I don't think it would be something that we humans would call a beautiful call, but it's very, very distinctive. So have a listen to that post if you'd like to hear their call, or one of their calls anyway. Heard this call and I suspected it was peregrine. So of course we're standing looking up and we could see a peregrine falcon land on one of the platforms with a dead pigeon in their talons, and that was amazing. So we stood watching, getting a cricked neck for quite a little while, and then as we made our way away from the cathedral, that they flew, which we thought was a bit strange, and was really calling, flew with the pigeon. I thought, what's going on? And then a second peregrine came after, and it's obvious they were trying to take the pigeon, or they weren't willing to share the pigeon. So we had this amazing encounter of these two beautiful birds, high up but clear enough to see them and to really feel that beautiful, powerful energy. So I knew that it would be the peregrine falcon. But I'm not sure if peregrines are all over the world, but if you don't have peregrine falcons where you are, don't worry. This energy is very connected into all falcons, so it's all about their amazing ability, as it is in common with a lot of the hawks and the raptors in general, is about focus and focusing on your intention. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. So when you think about birds of prey, birds in general, but when you've got birds of prey who are super hunters, it brings together a combination of very powerful energies and wisdom. And I think it speaks to us as humans because we are also top of the food chain in sort of evolutionary terms, and we are beings of focus, and I think the challenges with that in our human form is that we can learn to focus on things that we don't want or we don't like, or there isn't enough of this, or I haven't got that, or it's awful that this is happening, and it's really dreadful that I'm experiencing this. And the laws of focus, as the Peregrines, the Falcons teach, is that you must focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Now, it's not to say you ignore that there are things going on around you that you don't like. That's the exact opposite of what I'm suggesting. But rather than focusing your energy and your intention on the things that you don't like, choose to shift that focus to focus on what you can personally do, actions you can take, and an energy that you can feel. That until it manifests in the physical, you imagine it happening in the inner workings of your imagination, and by imagining it, you create the energy from within. And you don't know the difference whether a really vivid imagining is real or not in your brain. So it actually creates the energy around manifesting that. So to give you a simple example, with my art, it's a constant ongoing thing, a bit like going to the gym. You have to keep going for it to work, and you fall back and then you have to start again. I find without question that when I sit down at the beginning of the month and make a plan, and I say, this is what I'd like to do this month, and this is what I'd like to achieve, and I'm doing my best to earn a living from selling my art, which is a challenge for all artists, I think, particularly in today's world. But when I sit down and say, this is what I'd like to do, and these are the things that I'd like to focus on, and this is what I'd like to happen, I don't always get all of it, but I get an amazingly high percentage of that every single time. And some months I forget to do it, or I get distracted, or I tell myself, oh, I'll do it next month. And when I do that, guess what? Not a great deal tends to happen. And then I sort of pick myself up and think, right, need to sit down and do a plan. So when we're looking at our life, I'm not just talking about work, this is just an example, but when we're looking at our life, it's really helpful, and I think this is one of the most beautiful messages from Falcons and the Raptors. We are creatures of co-creation. So our energy, our feelings, our beliefs, followed by our actions that are in alignment, and our focus on what we want, all generate and create reality. Now, it's quite deep, isn't it? It's quite deep, but it's true. And I'm sure you can think of examples, whether it be I was thinking about wanting to go on an art workshop somewhere, and the next day somebody phones me up and says, oh, there's a lovely art workshop coming up in a week, would you like to go? You know, those sorts of things. They don't always happen like that, in that obvious way. But when you set an intention, it's like your energy, in fact it is your energy, opening doorways to that possibility. But in the same sense, if you start focusing on what you don't want, like, oh, what if I get ill tomorrow? Or what if somebody steals something from my car when I've left it in the car park, you're opening the doorway to that as well. So the universe doesn't know what you want and what you don't want. It only acknowledges the positive aspect, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. And Susie's saying, we do have peregrines. Oh, that's wonderful. They're amazing, aren't they? I love them. So it's about this being aware. We obviously have to live our lives, and things happen, and we have to adapt and shift and change with things. But in general, the peregrine falcon and falcons show us the power of our mind, the power of our intention, the power of our heart and our intuition, and the choice that we have to make a conscious decision to move towards allowing and receiving into our lives. It's even more powerful when you imagine you've already got it. It's already happened. So you imagine the feelings and the physicality and the visuals. You imagine it all so vividly over and over in your mind that your body, your energy, your whole being begins to formulate that into reality. So I just wanted really today to focus on that. I don't think I'll do too much more because I just think it's so important, especially with the way that we humans are living our lives at the moment. It's so easy to fall into the focusing on what we don't want and allowing the lower vibrating energies to dominate our way of being. And as I say, that's not spiritual bypassing. It's not saying all bad things aren't happening. It's saying bad things are happening and this is what I'm focusing on and this is what I'm going to do, which I can do, which will help to make things better. And that's the message. So I'm going to leave it at that, I think, for today. And the focus really is whatever we focus on grows stronger in energetic vibration. So be very aware of it. Okay? And I think that's what the Peregrine Falcons were screeching at, aside from their fight over their pigeon eating rights. It felt like we were both getting a bit of a tap on the shoulder. Because they really grabbed our attention. And so I wanted to share that with you as well. And I'd love to hear any examples you have of where that's been true for you, where if you focus your energy and your intention on something, and that's when the miracles start happening. I've got lots of examples, but I won't go into detail today. So I hope you found that useful. Just a couple of updates before I head out. I have been, I'm sure you're aware, you might not be, but I've been struggling with migraine headaches, more so over the last few months than perhaps I have in the 25 years or so I've lived with migraine. And so I'm having to take it easy and I'm feeling like I need a bit of a break. So I am going to say that this is the last weekly wildlife wisdom of this year, which is only a few weeks. But I will be back again in January. So I'm going to leave it there. I feel like I just need to sort of switch off. I'm going to spend a little bit of time in the studio doing some experimental art, looking at my Celtic wildlife art and seeing where my new intentions take me. And that's to blend in more of the Celtic symbology into my art in some way, which I've talked about earlier in the year. So I'm going to do that, but I'm also going to be taking a lot of rest and just allowing myself to switch off from all of the social media. However, my website's still operational. I am still taking orders, so if you still would like to order something from my website, please do. If you're overseas, my recommended deadline was yesterday for ordering, but that's only so that I can get it out to you before, for example, Christmas date. If you're happy to order and not necessarily get it by then, which you probably still will, to be honest, then that's fine. I will still be very happy to do that for you. And the UK, I'm suggesting the recommended date is the 8th of December, so another week to get your orders in, so that I've got time to get them all freshly printed if needed, or from stock, wrapped and posted to you, knowing that you'll get them in time, plenty of time for giving as gifts. But either way, I will still be doing my orders, so feel free to do that. I will see you back here next year, and I wish you all a very peaceful holiday season. Whatever you're doing, whatever your traditions and your beliefs, I just wish you all peace and love and joy and gratitude and all of those beautiful things. And from the Peregrine Falcons, focus on your intentions. It's also the gift of focusing on what you want, but then not gripping on too tightly, trying to make it happen through your mental faculties. So it's like holding on lightly. You visualize it, you imagine you already have it, but you let it go and you let it unfold in whatever way it wants and needs to. So that's my final message on that. But thank you so much. It's been so wonderful this year to be connecting with you all, meeting so many of you here on Instagram. I will be back. I'll let you know the exact date. I'll keep it to Fridays, so I'll give you a message nearer the time as we get towards January. And I wish you all lots of love and have a beautiful time at this point in the year when everything is getting dark in the Northern Hemisphere. Time to go inward, hibernate if you can, and renew, and then perfect timing for setting your focused intentions for the new year coming in a few weeks' time. Lots of love and thank you for your support. Take care. Bye for now.